Hi, my name is Austin Zoot, and welcome to the Zoot Perspective Web Congregation. This week's Torah portion we wrap back around Exodus because it's Passover, this holiday, the Jewish holiday that celebrates the Exodus from Egypt. Now, we could talk about the Torah portion, which we've done before, but I'd like to talk about a slightly different theme, and that is the concept of keeping kosher for Passover. We are commanded in the Bible to eat these unleavened cakes that we ate during our exodus from Egypt to commemorate what it was like to have to flee Egypt and to be part of this leaving experience, and to always remember what it was like to be slaves in Egypt and what it's like to be able to taste the freedom that we enjoy all the rest of our time. I've always had a really hard time with Passover. My family generally is a little less traditional when keeping the Passover, only because we don't observe quite as closely in terms of eating rice, eating corn. There are a multitude of rules, and different traditions keep different ways. Ashkenazi Jews from Europe celebrate very differently than Sephardic Jews from the Latin American and Spanish areas of Judaism. And my family has always leaned a little towards the less observant, only because it's never been that meaningful to us. The concept of eliminating pieces of our eating rituals has never connected us with any kind of higher being or higher sense of identity with the holiday. And now that I'm growing older, and as I develop my own traditions separately from my family, it's a struggle I continue with. The tradition of not eating rice or corn or other similar grains that are similar to that of wheat originally comes from the concept of storing these grains in barrels. We used to store grains in barrels, and it was almost impossible to keep from cross-contaminating some of those grains. It was impossible to have rice and be 100% certain that grains of wheat hadn't slipped into the rice. Therefore, it was easier just to avoid rice altogether. That's not really a problem anymore. It's not really something that is meaningful in our own day and age, and it has almost no religious context. So, my family has always eaten rice. The same goes for corn and many other grains that don't come in barrels anymore. We don't have an issue with barrel transportation, so we generally tend to avoid it. I have the challenge of then deciding, why is this meaningful to me? How is it that restricting my eating is going to have some kind of greater meaning in celebrating the Exodus from Egypt and connecting myself with my heritage? The first obvious answer is, my people, the Jewish people, have done this for countless generations, for hundreds of thousands of years, maybe not hundreds of thousands, but we've done this for thousands or hundreds of years, and I want to connect to that greater sense of identity. I want my Judaism to fall in line with the generations of Judaism. That's a very important component, and why I do keep on some level. But on another level, I'm looking for some kind of meaningful connection to the holiday. The intentional behavior of eliminating part of my eating is very meaningful to me. When I go out with friends this week, I know that I have to be a little more thoughtful and a little smarter about what I choose to eat, what I choose to avoid, and that connects me with the concept of Passover all the time. But really, the purpose of keeping the Passover is to remember what it means to have been slaves in Egypt, to remember what it means to have had to make a choice to flee Egypt as quickly as we could, and to have to choose to change our behavior and change our eating habits. What I encourage and what I try and emulate in my own behavior is to allow the eating to be a tool, a spark that encourages me to think more deeply about what it means to be free, what it means to pursue freedom in other areas of the world, and what it means to truly pursue liberty on a far-reaching, thoughtful scale. My eating behavior changes not only from year to year, but even from day to day in my own observance. And the purpose of that is that every single day I make intentional, thoughtful decisions on how am I going to keep Passover today, and how am I going to connect with the ideas, the themes, and the meanings of Passover. This is not a final conversation. Everyone has their own interpretations. Everyone identifies with it differently. But the purpose of the holiday is to have to be forced to make conscious decisions about what we eat, how we eat it, and how it is meaningful in the greater context of being Jewish people and being Jews in today's day and age. I would love to hear your traditions. I'd love to hear what you have to say. Please feel free to leave a comment below with how you practice Passover and how you use Passover as a way of strengthening your Jewish identity. Also, if you like the work I'm doing here at the Zoot Perspective Web Congregation, please feel free to donate to my GoFundMe page, which is going to help me on my educational journey to continue doing this for a living. So thank you so much. Happy Passover, Chag Sameach, and Shabbat Shalom.